Frack on. Welcome to another episode of Frack the Canon. I am joined by the coolest motherfuckers around. This time entering the fracking zone with me is Tyler Ruiz. How you doing, good sir?
Doing really good. Feeling the need
For speed.
for speed.
All right, so we're talking about Top Gun Maverick. Let's talk about this movie. So I mean, what did you think about this movie? I remember my first comment coming out of that movie like it's fun. Way better than the first one, in my opinion. I'm like, oh, there's a story this time around. I dig it. But what were your takeaway, good sir?
It was, in my opinion, so far the best movie of the 2020s. A visceral cinematic experience. I'm a bit biased because I actually loved Top Gun, the first one, mostly for nostalgia's sake, because it was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. And obviously there are some parts they could have done better, but it's like really carefully crafted and really well edited, shot extremely well, and the experience was way better than I think I was expecting.
All right. Well, so what were your favorite? What was the? Did you say you had a moment? Sorry, I missed that part. Like, did you say you had a moment that you didn't like, or that did like?
There were a few
Okay.
things, moments too, like the romance between the girl from Labyrinth and Tom
Jennifer
Cruise.
Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly, yeah. That romance could have been fleshed out a little more, and obviously the bait and switch with the romance scene fell way short. But there were story points that could have been better, but it's like we're like B plus A minus territory. Like it's still really, really good.
So that's something that I noticed too. I was like, because we were watching the first one. Like I watched it like 5 times before watching the new one, like before it came out. I'm like, there's no story in Top Gun. It's a lot of fun, but there's no story. Like this is happening. This one I like the story, but like again, the love scene, I'm like, why did you guys fall in love? Why? Like, and I felt that we didn't need that scene. Honestly, like we didn't need the love scene with Jennifer Connelly, or like I don't know why we needed that. I did like everything about it. I did like most of it except for the love scene. What I did love, I thought it was surprising was the third act. I'm like, oh, this is different, because I felt like this whole movie, I'm like, oh, it's just a retread of the last one. Like this is old original Tom Cruise, this young Tom Cruise. Like a lot of even the beginning, I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. And then him bring a Maverick. You know, I'm like, but dude, like, wouldn't you be in jail right now? Wouldn't you be in military jail if you did all this stuff? That's kind of my issue too. Just like you're a soldier. But anywho, my favorite things were the dogfight scenes, the training. That was awesome. I wanted more of that. Yeah, but that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, just to answer my opinion on why Kelly Connolly was there. He had the false defeat of, like one of his pilots almost dying, and so he was taken off the mission or whatever. He needed something to ground him, to say you got to keep trying, and he needed some like reason to live at the end.
Right.
Because the whole thing about him is like he's completely dedicated to flying. Rooster even said it to him in the movie, like, if you died, nobody would care, because you don't have anybody.
Right.
So he needed Jennifer Connelly's character to give him some reason to live and some pep talk to have him keep going. And I think in my opinion, she seems like a late addition to the script, because even in the original Top Gun, like Kelly McGillis's character is completely irrelevant, other than her being an instructor. But just to mention on the original Top Gun's based off of 2 operations that actually happened in the early 80s. And they were 2 different pilots, but they bridged it into being like the same pilot. And then they would, like, obviously Top Gun's a real school that has super high stakes, and pilots have died in Top Gun, just like what happened to Goose in the original. So I think it's important mentioning what like Top Gun is like kind of like an homage to the past, as well as like referencing like actual operations. So what this new movie is such a ingenious bridge between like fantasy of like what we all think of like 80s action movies like Rambo, like single guy taking on the world, with like reality of like what actual pilots are going through and like their type of training they go through. And it's like super psychologically interesting. Like the lens is practical. Like what we're seeing is that them in the back really flying with pilots off of aircraft carriers and actually hitting the G's and everything. With I'll just say this now, a Star Wars plot.
Yeah, I mean that's what that is. Yeah, it really is. I'm like, it is a Star Wars plot. But I mean, yeah, like I think I just liked it a lot more. This one, I just liked it a lot more. I definitely want to see it again. I definitely want to buy it. I just remember here's the thing that did bug me about the movie though. Besides the love story, I'm like, he's 40 years old. He been not 40. He's almost been 40. Actually, the movie came out when we were. The movie's as old as I am. Came out in 86. I'm like, so he's been in there for 36 years. He's almost 40 years, and he's still a captain. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
I
do.
Make
an issue with that movie. That one, I'm like, I don't. Either he would have been forced to be promoted, forced to take a desk. I do not buy him being still a captain at all.
Well, I do actually. So my grandpa grew up highly ranked in like World War II and in the Korean War and everything, and has always had a lot of information he shared with me, like military hierarchy. In a nutshell, like you don't get promoted if you don't play the rules. Like and like with promotions come benefits more than just pay, and the higher you go, the better you're taken care of the older you like in your latter years. So the military is like designed to encourage following the rules. And even in Top Gun 2, in Maverick, they mentioned like, you're still a captain, like a couple times, or like, really, you're still a captain? And it makes sense to me that he is still what he is, because for many years he stayed on that test pilot program for that project, for that thing that goes Mach 10. Impossible, by the way. There's no way anything will ever fly Mach 10 in the inner atmosphere. But but he was on that project for many years, and that's what helped him keep his rank. So I believe that. But what you're saying earlier about how on earth is he not court-martialed? On both occasions, more so, even worse than when he stole the jet and he did the course himself. Then it's like, wow, okay, yeah, that actually is, because with the jet he was testing, he was slated to lift off at that time anyways. The admiral just said ground it like morning of, so it makes sense he actually got off the ground.
Right.
But definitely him taking the jet without permission is impossible. It's not like a story breaking thing. It's one I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'll let that happen.
Yeah, I'll believe. Yes, for sure, I'll believe that one. But I'm like, I don't know how, dude. You're not court-martialed yet. Like, I don't like. That's and then I'm just like, those were my big thing. Again, that one, and then the love story, like we said earlier. Why do we have this love story here? Why do we need this? We don't need this. Like, I would have liked more of him and Goose's son Rooster to be like more of that tension, more of that, like him, like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like I didn't feel the animosity that was supposed to be there. I feel like I filled in the gap. I filled in the gap myself, because I'm like, I don't see it from either of you guys filling the animosity.
You know? Really?
I didn't
like
feel it.
with Rooster. Yeah, you had the whole dynamic too, where Rooster had to listen to Maverick because of the ranking, and he, like, you saw it a bit too on the opposite end of like Maverick's older than Cyclone, Mad Max actor, his character, Mad Men actor.
John Hamm.
His character is younger than Maverick by like 5 years. And you know, if he but he like outranks Maverick by like 5 ranks or whatever. So like there is that tension too on the other end. But I think they did enough of it, because the scene where Rooster is like walking to the jet and then Maverick's like trying to get his attention and he isn't turning around or whatever. There's enough there. And I did like a couple things this movie did really well is one of which is the misdirect. Like going into the movie, you think Rooster's going to be mad at Maverick because Maverick is the reason Goose is dead, but he's actually mad because, spoiler alert, because Rooster's mom asked Maverick to not let him fly, and so Maverick, while Rooster's mom was still alive, pulled his papers, but Maverick never told Rooster why he did it, so Rooster's like pissed at Maverick. And I think they had just enough tension to also believe that Rooster would risk his life to save Maverick at the end of the movie. Also, spoiler alert. And I love that, those decisions, because that was also paired with like Rooster letting go and not being too overly careful. And I love that too, where Maverick believed in Rooster the whole time, because like on paper for flight skills, like Hangman, his flight ability, he could easily do the course, but his loyalty as a pilot wasn't at the level that Rooster was, and Maverick knew that too. And that was actually really like 3D chess writing, and I really enjoyed that.
See, I didn't get that at all. I'm watching it. I did not. That to me was not clear.
Yeah, well, it was about more clear the second or third time I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a lot of exposition. Well, why don't you just show me that instead of telling me that? You know, but again, I could get that. I don't. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I saw this movie 3 times. I want to go 4th, and hopefully a 5th by the time this movie's over.
I know I'm going to see it again. I do want to see it again. I'm probably going to wait for it to be on home entertainment, because
Yeah, everything's hard right now, inflation and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're telling me.
Yeah, I saw it on 40X too, where the seats move, and wow, that was totally worth going all the way up to
40X around here.
Livermore. It's the closest one.
Okay. Oh, I'm not going to Livermore for that.
There's only 5 in the state of California. There's Livermore, Sacramento. Those are the 2 in Northern California.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's worth it. It's so worth it.
So, what did you? So overall, any final thoughts? Like go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. This is like one of the most important things I think should be stated about Maverick is obviously it's on track to make $2 billion. It's the first movie since Titanic. Oh no, sorry, it's the first movie since Avatar, where it's not a sequel. It's not based off of like Marvel Comics. I mean, it is a sequel, but it's not like part of a trilogy, like huge franchise. It's not a Marvel comic movie. It's the first one in like 2000 since 2009 that was able to do this. So a lot of people, because of this, are saying Maverick is possibly reinvigorating people's faith in cinema. It's a movie that is one where people are going to see it. That's not because of the people on a comic book page or on this like really long franchise that shouldn't be making movies anymore. And I think it's important to establish it's not only because of Tom Cruise's patience and waiting for the technology and the incredible editing and cinematography that went into this movie, but this movie has been in development since like the early 2000s, like since we were in high school. Like they have been writing this movie for long time, and it works. The script works because it was carefully crafted, designed around these cinematic moments that are there because of the cinematography and everything. And I just want to establish that it is successful because it was carefully crafted, not because of Top Gun. Like it could have been garbage. It could have been Jurassic Park 6. And just want to highlight this because it's a tendency that studios are doing over and over again. They want the really easy to make money thing, like we talked about a bit on the Jurassic Park 6 one we did. It's like, oh, people like these old characters, they will come see this movie because we put Alan Grant in it, because we put Ellie Sattler in it, or Spider-Man No Way Home. They'll come see it because Andrew Garfield and because Tobey Maguire, and it's like they can't get away with that forever if they keep putting out subpar products. And not Jurassic. Top Gun Maverick is nowhere near a subpar product. It is cinematically, and not necessarily in the deep story wise, but cinematically how it's shot and edited, and the carefully crafted story to get these moments is there, and it deserves the $2 billion club.
I don't know if I agree. But I just remember I think it was a lot of fun. I'm just really, really hesitant to support Tom Cruise.
Yeah. You don't want to support Tom Cruise?
A little bit, yeah. I love talking about it, like I was hesitant, like frack. Fine, I'll go. But I think it's a good movie. I don't know if it's that. It's not a pathos. It's not like the best movie in the world. It's not like I'm not trying to say. It's not nothing cure cancer, it's
not Citizen Kane.
It's not Citizen Kane. It's a fine movie. It's a fun movie. It's a good popcorn flick to go out and watch. I mean, I'm definitely gonna buy it. I don't want to, but I'm gonna buy it. I think I liked it a lot more than the first one. But yeah, those are my final thoughts. But I think it's a good movie. I think people should check it out. Yeah, it's a good popcorn. Good, turn off your brain. Watch some stupid action happen. And that's that.
Yeah, popcorn flick. That's actually a really good point. There's a lot of talk in the early going after this movie came out. People were talking about, people like me who had a really good time in the movie were talking about like this is one of the greatest movies ever made. And it's like, okay, pump those brakes. It is not one of the greatest movies ever made. However, it is a really entertaining movie. And a good one I can equate this to, this isn't a better movie than that, is like Ford v Ferrari. It's like an incredible cinematic experience that is well written enough to get these accolades and these ideas. But as people who have studied cinema for many years, you and I know the difference in writing between a really entertaining movie that is really fun to watch and like one of the greatest movies ever made. And the difference in it is writing, and if it has like a predictable plot, if it's taking literal beats from like other movies like Star Wars, like literally beat for beat, like get it through the 3-meter hole and then you win, then it's not original enough to be considered. The likes of Schindler's List or Citizen Kane or Casablanca, and that's something that is kind of being lost among moviegoers just in their language, is like, just because it's like extremely entertaining, automatically it's like one of the greatest movies ever. It's like, no, it's one of the best cinematic experiences, but that doesn't make it one of the best movies ever. It's definitely made for theaters. It's definitely like adrenaline pumping. It's definitely a great movie to see in theaters, but that doesn't mean it's among the best crafted things ever. And that's a distinction I think everyone needs to understand.
The best movie ever is Not the Rock Spray. I'm kidding. Well, no, that's it. Those are my final thoughts. Thank you, Tyler, for joining me for this quick. It's kind of a quick episode. We'll see you same fracking time, same fracking channel. Frack off.